hubs and links started to appear outside America. So correspondingly, such bodies of ICANN, or such strategies of ICANN were developed in order to regulate the creation of new domains, regulate the regulation of the creation of the address domain, and the government of the country of 2014 declared that they are ready to withdraw, to adjure their rights, and in the March of 16 corresponding application and suggestions were sent to the government of the United States from Armenia, and in the August of 16 documents for new organization were prepared, which is also connected with the abbreviation PTI, but which is not the post-transition IANA, but now it is called Public Technical Identifiers, or Organization on Public Technical Identifiers, which is actually going to accomplish the functions of IANA in the very near future. And whoever has been watching this process, you must have paid attention how this all became the topic of polemics of the candidates of the presidency to the United States. There were numerous different juridical and other social and whatever activities that were demanding that the Americans should not abandon their current role, and now, however, it had happened. The traditional slide, which I showed to everybody, so as a proof how difficult is the process of managing the identifiers, which is the job of our corporation. But you see, here we have involvement of not only many different participants, but also groups of participants. And on this picture, schematically, I've tried to show what is the management of United Internet in our actually united global world. In a couple of words, I want to remind you that actually nothing super radical has taken place. The functions that were done by IANA and the control that was accomplished by the government of USA, they had exclusively technological character, no policy, no juridical issues. IANA is coordinating the technical parameters, whatever is connected with the protocols, numbers of the autonomous systems. It is dealing with the distribution of IP addresses among 5 regional registrars, CRIPE-NCC, and is following the maintenance of the policy in respect of the domains of the first level. I want to remind you that the American government pushed forward the whole range of conditions, one of which was that it is not allowed to pass these authorities to any other state or interstate body, exactly with the same argumentation that the United States was criticized. And in the course of the work on these suggestions, the second flow came forward, besides the organizational questions on how this is to. The second flow of issues was how to improve the accountability and how to enhance the transparency of what and how is done by our organization. And that has been a complex suggestion. Schematically, you can see it here, where in the first rectangle ICANN is are added different procedures, mechanisms, which till now used to exist, but which is kind of quite sophisticated, but this is a subject of compromise, which allows each of us and you from the Armenian society, from the business and state bodies to participate this way or that way in this process. All these additional circles and small rectangles boxes are additions to how the activity of our organization is going to be controlled in the future. Whether we have achieved the anticipated result, the answer is, of course, positive. In the course of corroboration of these matters, indeed, we could say that what we wanted, we received. The most popular question that used to sound very often in discussion, in the course of discussion of these questions, in the course of the arguments in the Congress, and whether the passing of the coordinating role of ICANN is a threat to the Internet. Well, the answer is unambiguously no, because our organization is not dealing with the issues of the freedom of speech, is not dealing with any security matters. We are just dealing with the technical capacities of Internet and trying to enhance it. And if we were to redefine the question whether different countries will be able to somehow limit the freedom of speech in Internet after the United States has given up its right, well, again, the answer is, of course, no, because the situation as existed before 30 September is going to be the same after September 1, because every country has the right to adopt legislation on their own territory. But from the point of view of our organization, again, we are dealing purely with technological issues, so the task of forbidding or limiting the freedom of speech will not change. We did not ever pursue such tasks to control it. Will the governments control the Internet more than before? Again, this is connected with the fact that when the functions of IANS were passed, the governments are peer participants in regulating the Internet. And besides the governments, there are also representatives of business, civic society, also the associations of the unions, now also research, scientific, and all that Americans call academy, and also intergovernmental organizations, which also will pursue their own interests, so as to have effective management of all these huge conglomerate. We need coordinated agreement of all the stakeholders and participating sides. There are still questions which need answer, because we still are in the process of launching a new mechanism, which is going to be called public technical identifiers. And of course, we shall continue working on enhancing the accountability and transparency of the ICANN itself. And we're also in the course of discussion of two more questions of more juridical character. The first question is the question of jurisdiction. After, say, Americans, the question is, wouldn't it be better to take all that is connected with the management of Internet from the domain of the jurisdiction of the USA, and also as this is not ICANN, but the biggest American Internet corporation, VeriSign is still managing the technical management of Internet according to the agreement with the government of the United States, and these questions are still in the process of discussion. For us, what's going to happen next? After the completion of this phase, we continue our business as usually. We have our tasks, we have our job, routine everyday job, which is in the first place connected with supporting the stability and security of and resiliency of the Internet. We shall sign new agreements which will change our relations with the existing organizations, including regional registrations. Most probably in 2-3 years, we shall launch a new program of new GTLD, that is to say, new domains of the first level, which are now around 2,000. Most probably there will be much more many. We are working on the project of providing global access, also access to not Latin graphic. Those who are using like the Armenian domain .hi, they know that the resources in that domain can be used, can be searched, they are going to be indexed, but as in Armenian domains, as in Cyrillic domains, the full-scale electronic email post is not possible. Only so far because they are only with Armenian, Georgian, and Cyrillic alphabets letters. Well, but this much so far, and now this will allow all interested parts of the community to have more active participation in all of this. I want to remind you that we are holding regular meetings, specialized as of global character. The next meeting is going to be in Hyderabad in a month. We invite you to participate. We suggest people with financial possibilities to do so. This is called Program Fellowship. Currently, this program, these weeks, is collecting bids, applications for the participation in next meeting of ours that's going to take place in March next year in Copenhagen. And also a whole range of events is going to be in our regions. There will be the first DNS forum that will take place in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, on 1st to 2nd, 3rd of December. So we invite everybody to come, participate. On this slide, you will find all contact data through which you can get more information or get in touch with us. So thank you very much for your attention. If there are any questions, I will be happy to answer to them. If I have the capacity, of course. Thank you very much. Ivan Obsepianov, Fund Armex. Does I can consider, or does I can have some regional departments, some chapters regional that are, say, responsible for example, our region or our sub-region. I want to remind you, in ICANN we have 3 global headquarters. One of them is in Los Angeles and is responsible for the Northern and Southern Americas. There is a department which is in Istanbul, Turkey, which is responsible for regions Africa, Middle East, and Europe, and there is one that is responsible for Pacifics and countries of Eastern Asia. And there are also, we so call them engagement offices, small offices, where there are people who are dealing with those organizations that are in the venue where they are. We have such in Washington, Brussels, and Geneva. Correspondingly, I would be really very glad if in our region also some kind of engagement office will be opened in the framework of the project of globalization of the functions of ICANN. For that, we need, in the first place, interest of stakeholders in the region who could become our local partners, and of course some set of projects that we could realize together. That is the country who is considered to be such country, if such country as Armenia, who has very deep and cordial relations with other stakeholders of our region, will express such interest, then we will react correspondingly, and the answer of the question was very positive and promising.